What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Full Court Talk podcast. CJ and I are back at it. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Getting closer to the holidays. How are you doing?
Good, man. Just hanging in there till the holidays, right?
Yep, yep.
We got a lot to talk about. Uh, over the past week, Trae Young has beefing with his coach. So obviously, you saw what had happened and what Trae Young. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see what Trae Young said to the media after?
Yeah, I did. I
What did
did.
you think about the whole thing?
You know what? It's just childish to me. I think a lot of the stuff should be. I mean, you got to consider the fact that he is fairly young, but at the same time, the way that you feel about a certain decision or somebody personnel in your franchise, whether it's a coach or a player, I think you got to keep that in house. And I understand the frustrations because I'm that type of person to voice my opinion. But as a professional athlete, I just feel like there's a lot of cameras pointed at him, and he gave them what they wanted, and it's just hopefully one bad misunderstanding between them, and it's not something that's been lingering. But I think that it was very childish. I really feel like he could have kept it to himself or talked to somebody internally before going out and announcing it to the public. But at the same time, like I said, when something like that happens, obviously the media is going to be all over it. So by now, he should be aware of that. But yeah, overall, I just think it was childish.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's weird that it all kind of precipitated from him not wanting to come off the bench. It would be different if he was healthy and not
Yeah.
wanting to come off the bench because then it's different because, Trae Young is their best player.
Yep.
Trae Young is, I don't know exactly what injury he's recovering from, but he's recovering from injury. I think it's a hamstring, I want to say.
Mhm.
But regardless, like it's totally understandable if you come off the bench. Steph did it. We've seen a lot of superstars who are recovering come off the bench help their team. So it's not a good look that he's saying, no, I'm not going to come off the bench. But I think also Nate McMillan definitely deserves some of the blame here because he gave Trey the ultimatum of saying like, don't come to the game or come off the bench. It's like you
Yeah.
can't do that to a superstar, but at the
Yep.
same time, it's like Trey needs to be able to come off the bench.
Yeah.
Everyone has to at some point, and for him to be like, no, I'm just not going to come to the game is just weird. So it's concerning. I think the Atlanta Hawks have a lot of issues, and I don't think they have addressed all of them. I think John Collins is still a guy they kind of don't really know what to do with. They can't really get what they want for him, but they also don't really have a plan for him in the long
Yeah.
term. So I don't know. I really don't know what they're gonna do. Also, I don't know if you saw Chandler Parsons actually said that Trey can't act like that, which is true. He can't act
Mm.
like that. It's just like you said, childish.
Yeah.
Overall, I think this Hawks locker room has a ton to work on in terms of chemistry. I think there's a lot of drama brewing, but I
Yeah.
live for it. I think it's great.
Yeah. I want to say shout out to the only two people that I know on there, Jalen Johnson and AJ Griffin from Duke. But speaking of injuries, DeJounte Murray, he's gonna be out for at least 2 weeks with something too, right?
Yeah.
And so the situation hasn't gotten any better. But I like what you said. Like at one point, everybody has to come off the bench, whether or not they're in an aging role or they're coming off an injury. And it's just a precaution. It's not like it's a permanent thing. So
Yeah.
I don't understand why he couldn't just do that. But I also, on the other side of it, um, it was probably a heated agreement or argument. And so, when two heads are just butting and it's just you can't solve anything at that point in time. And Nate McMillan probably lost his cool, and Trae Young didn't appreciate it. So, but yeah, like it's just a precaution, and it's just I don't understand why he couldn't just do one game. You know, um,
Yeah.
Superstars
Yeah.
have done it. And so what makes it worse is that they went to New York and he had those shoes King of Broadway, and then they got smacked.
Trey always finds his way into like these little beefs and like he's the
Yeah,
one starting it, but then he makes it seem like he's the one ending it. But like
yeah,
the other players are like not even really like beefing with him.
Yeah, it's one sided.
Yeah, it's like all in his head. Like he's the little victim.
Yeah,
I his attitude is just really weird.
yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of Trae Young, uh, but that's a different story.
yeah.
I also want to say Nate McMillan is like NBA vet kind of guy, and he's definitely a player coach.
Respect
So
as well.
yeah, super respected around the league. That's why he keeps getting jobs.
Yep.
So if there was anyone I was going to listen to, it's going to be Nate McMillan because he knows where you're coming from. Even though he wasn't a star, he's played with stars. So
Yep.
it's interesting. Uh, the Hawks definitely don't look good. I think they're 13 and 12 now with
Hmm.
DeJounte going out. So we'll see. Now we get on to the Lakers. They've hit their groove recently, or prior to Anthony Davis and LeBron going down. I think Anthony Davis is sick with the flu, and
Yeah.
LeBron hurt his ankle, I think.
Something.
Yeah. But before that, they hit a groove. I think they were 8-2. Now they're 6-4 over their last 10.
Yeah.
Do you think they need to make a move?
Oh, I definitely still do. But see, I've seen both sides of this statement that I'm about to say. I don't think Russ should be moved.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's I'm definitely going back on what I said before. Clip me saying I want to trade Russ and or saying I believe in Russ, but he's found his groove coming off the bench. And Darvin Ham did say that he's gonna find a place for him, and he definitely did that. And there was always a part of me that wanted Russ to succeed, and because obviously the things that was being said about him weren't fair, and I really wanted him to basically just go back on what these guys are saying, but I definitely think that they should make a trade. And I got a notification today from Bleacher Report saying that the Lakers won't attach any first round picks to any trade that's going on unless they get a star. And I'm just like, dude, like, come on now. Like, the Lakers are known to make big splash moves, and that needs to happen now if we're gonna capitalize on what AD and Braun has been doing, more so on AD. But yeah, like same situation when I was complaining about Danny Green and Kuz, but in a way, those guys are better than Patrick Beverly and Nunn. Like, man, they're just out there vibing, bro. Like no D. I saw the tweet and it said we got Pat Bev for 3 and D and he doesn't either. you know, and
Yeah.
then you know Kendrick Nunn, like the apology better be as loud as a disrespect, but I'm still being disrespectful because he hasn't been doing anything. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, and you need to get rid of those two guys, attach the picks, and just go for it. Um, I was seeing some reports of people saying, LeBron was holding the young core, or not the young core, but the players back, and AD not doing enough, this and that. AD started killing. Braun went out, and then look what happened. We were getting smacked by the Cavs. And the Cavs are a great team. But yeah, I definitely think that the Lakers should make a move, and I think they're bound to make one with that release of Matt Ryan, who I appreciate for that shot, but um I definitely think that they still make a move and they should. And if not, and it's just gonna be a disaster, no playoffs again, you know?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to Anthony Davis at this point.
Yep,
Uh, I hate to say that, like I don't want to be a broken record at this point, but like he is the barometer for you guys.
I agree.
And I think like I did see someone say like AD is the most dominant player if he's healthy.
Hmm.
And the past stretch, like where he like averaged 47 on like
Yeah.
what 50-60% from the field.
Hmm.
I agree. He's
Yeah.
capable of doing literally everything on the floor. And I
Yep.
think defensively, he's probably the best player because he can play inside, he can play outside. It's just he's never healthy. Literally never healthy. And
Yep.
that's the whole thing is like you can be as great as you can, but like if you're only playing 50 games, you're not gonna you're not enough at that point. But the
Hmm.
Lakers do need to make a trade for sure. I mean, they have dead weight dangling off their bench. Patrick Beverley has yet to eclipse 50% field goal percentage in a game. His or he
Yeah,
has one game. He was 3 of 5. That's it.
yeah.
And he's not sniffed double-digit scoring at all this season.
I don't think he's past 4 points, bro.
I think he's gotten to 7, which is pretty close. It's pretty close. But it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like I know he's not a scorer, and we shouldn't really expect scoring, but you'd expect defense. He's been terrible
Yep.
around it too. Uh, and then we get to Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn has scored 10 plus points 5 times out of 21 games. I know he's coming off the bench, but that's his job is to score points, and he's not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the Lakers is like Russ has been hooping off the bench, keep him. But is Kendrick Nunn and Pat Bev enough for an all-star with the 2 picks? No, because those two are terrible. And the picks might not translate as well as many seem to think. You never know. It's like I guess what I'm trying to say is like to get an all-star in return is so unlikely at this point.
Definitely. Oh, I agree.
And because if you can get like maybe RJ Barrett, I guess I'm trying to think. But
Yeah.
off the top of my head, I can't think of any team that would want to trade with the Lakers at this point. But I feel
Yeah.
for you guys because you guys are a few pieces away from contending, and that's like being generous at this point.
Other teams, they know that the Lakers are desperate, and with that, they will use that to their advantage.
Yeah.
Think about it like this: it's common sense, right? Like we want to get rid of these players so bad, and every other team has the upper hand. So that is why they're asking for those picks. And I know people know that, but I'm just saying, like, to ask for an all-star is just wishful thinking. And I don't know why whoever released that would come out and say it. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
Because that's not what they're gonna get. And at this point, like a lot of Laker fans um, are complaining about him, but I I honestly think that THT would have been better than any one of these guys.
Yeah.
And THT was pretty bad, especially towards the end of last season. So you know, it's just trouble in Lakerland. Something that we're not used, or something that we're already used to. But I think also I want to say it's looking bad on Palinka and Ginny Bus.
Yeah.
And I know that this type of franchise is championship or bust, right? But to not be able to be consistent after that 2020 season, it's just it's crazy. And a lot of them obviously, I mean, they obviously make the decisions, and it's just like now they're trying to push to win now again to not waste AD and Bron, but what can they really get, right? And so that's something that a lot of people have to consider, because it's not just the coaching or anything like that. It's the front office. So
So what would you say if like they went for high risk, high reward, like say
mm.
Cam Reddish,
Oh yeah.
because the Knicks are probably gonna start. I don't know. It's the Knicks. You never know. But we know
Yeah.
that Tom Thibodeau hates Cam Reddish for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Maybe Pat Bev and
Mhm.
Kendrick Nunn are enough for Cam Reddish. Maybe throw in a second round or first pick.
Yeah.
Do you like the obviously I think you do because you're a Duke guy, but do you like the addition or do you think it makes that big of a difference to get Cam Reddish?
I think it makes sense just because we need another 3 and D guy. Like I said with Pat Bev, he's doing neither. Um,
Yeah,
Troy Brown Jr. has been shooting better, right?
yeah,
But who wouldn't want another shooter on the team? And like a lot of the guys respect Cam Reddish. They know that he has game. In my unbiased opinion, he's smooth. Like when he's out there, he's efficient. And he was the third option when he was at Duke, and he's bounced around. And I feel like he should be getting an opportunity to showcase the talent that he has, because he had a smooth stroke. He can defend. He's like, no disrespect, but a poor man's um wing from the Suns. What's his name?
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges. He's a
Yeah,
poor man's Mikal Bridges, and I'll take that. I'll take it over Pat Bev and Kendrick Nunn just thinking it up. And the other thing is, Tom Thibodeau would welcome Pat Bev. The type of coaching that he you know does with the Knicks, he would want somebody like that. And
Yeah,
see the things he loves veterans, right? So it would work out because this is a guy that we're talking about that gave a chance in Taj Gibson when 11 years ago was the last time you should have given him a chance, right?
yeah.
No disrespect to Taj, but yeah, it's just I think it makes sense. And if it has to take the first one of the picks, I say do it. I say do it because, like you said, they're just dead weight at this point. And every year, for some reason, we have an expectation for a role player, and they don't reach it at all. And this year, it's Pat Bev, which is really unfortunate because a lot of us were excited to get him. Us Laker fans were excited to get him. He's supposed to bring that dog, but he's been bringing a Chihuahua or a puppy.
No, you're right. I think also Cam Reddish has been. I think he was drafted into a bad situation with the
Mhm.
Atlanta Hawks.
Yep.
I mean, they drafted two wings back to back, and they expected it to work,
Yep.
and then getting sent to the Knicks while also being kind of thrown under the bus, saying like, "Oh, he requested a trade when he didn't."
Mm-hmm.
Just it hasn't been the start to his career. I think many thought it would be. I think Cam Reddish is a great player. I think he can be really, really good,
Mm-hmm.
and for him to learn under LeBron and AD be fantastic.
He would
And he'd be a
thrive.
guy who can start right away.
Yep.
So I think if it was offered, I would wholeheartedly take it just because Kendrick Nunn, Pat Bev, and a pick, that's nothing compared to what he could bring you.
Agreed.
On to our final topic. Is he an all-star? So I'll give you the name, and then you can tell me if you think they're an all-star. And then I'll give you
Mhm.
their numbers, and then
Got
we'll
it.
see if you reconsider. So the first name, Andrew Wiggins. What do you think?
Um, he has to be. I think he has to just because of what the Warriors are experiencing right now and the lackluster defense. Sorry, Warrior fans, but
Sure.
you know, um, he has to put up all-star numbers, and I feel like he has to be one of the guys that joins Steph essentially on that team. And I feel like he can duplicate the numbers that he had last season easily, especially in a situation where right now they need that offense. The only thing that I would disagree with him not becoming an all-star is that the energy that he would have to exert on defense to cover up what you guys lost.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see him being an all-star this season.
So Andrew Wiggins is averaging 19 points a game
Mm-hmm.
on 51% from the field, 45% from three,
Mm-hmm.
5 rebounds, and 1.4 steals a game.
Yeah, I, I agree. Those are all-star numbers.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, obviously, I've been watching a lot of Warrior games, so I've seen him. I mean, he's been one of our most consistent slash best players this season.
Yeah,
Next player, guy similar, kind of in a similar situation to Wiggins, OG Anunoby.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think OG is gonna be an all-star this year, just because of. Before you tell me his numbers, people have been an all-star for less,
Yeah,
and numbers wise, no, just numbers speaking, and then the situation that the Raptors have is kind of weird. I know they're competing, and I know it is the East, but they're not making that type of noise, and it's not like he's putting up crazy performances.
yeah.
And OG is just one of those solid role players. Now, if it was Pascal Siakam, maybe, but I'm gonna say no for OG.
So he's averaging 19 points,
Mhm.
48% from the field, 33% from three,
Mhm.
5.8 rebounds, but a league leading 2.3 steals a game.
I see.
And I think I would have to double check this, but I think he is the league, like one of the league's, obviously one of the league's best defenders, but I think he's like really close to the top in terms of defensive rating.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Raptor fans, but they the All Star game typically doesn't show love to these types of guys. And
Yeah.
if I had to choose between him and Wiggs, um, like I said, not rooting for the Warriors, but Wiggins is going to get the nod in my opinion. OG gets in if somebody gets injured. No disrespect.
Yeah, I think I like the way you put that. I think he would be an injury replacement guy.
Yeah.
I do think he sneaks in if Pascal doesn't get in, just
Yeah.
because Siakam hasn't played a ton of games this year. I think he's been injured quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see him as an injury replacement because I don't his efficiency isn't there as much, I would say.
Yeah.
The next guy, your guy, Paolo Banchero, rookie. Do you think he can
Woo!
make it?
Man, this is a biased pick, Spence. I'm gonna say yes.
That's why I put it.
Orlando is not having any success, but the numbers that he's putting up, just numbers alone, man, and the hype around him. You know, let's see. Let's talk about Zion. Zion doesn't go down that rookie year; he gets in,
Yeah,
and I think it's
easily.
similar to Paolo. And um, the way that the Magic have been making it work with all that height on the front court, just because of that, and how he's been able to do pretty much everything: pass, score, rebound. You know, um, I say yeah. Let's get a rookie in there for the first time in a while.
So he's averaging 22 points a game on 44% from the field, 6.7 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. I think I agree. I think he also is a kind of a fringe guy, but he's putting up great numbers. He's been
Yeah.
fantastic for the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, if you want to put Bobo in there too, I'm cool with it because they have been so much fun to watch.
Yeah, they have been.
And on to another guy who who is on a new team, Jalen Brunson, who has had a sneaky good season. When I looked up his numbers, I was like, okay, this is surprising.
Jalen Brunson. This might be the wrong pick, but I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Just because Jalen. I mean, every year if you look at it, there's always that one guy at the All Star game where you're just like, he's an odd man out, right?
Yeah,
That could be Brunson, but history was not too kind to these types of All Star role players. Is what I like to call them. The reason why I call
yeah,
that is because they're putting up numbers, but they're doing it in a Tim Duncan esque way that nobody really cares,
yeah.
except if you're a fan of that player. And from the beginning, from when the Knicks were chasing him and all the illegal methods used, um, I knew that he was gonna. It's not that I knew, but I knew that he was gonna be one of the top dogs because RJ Barrett was basically handed the keys with Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson coming in there more experienced than all of them. I think even though Julius Randle has been around longer, he was gonna have more of a solid outing. But I'm gonna say no. And like I said, this might be the wrong pick. Sorry, Knicks fans.
So he's averaging 20 points a game,
Yeah.
47% from the field, 33 from three, 3.4 rebounds, and 6.2 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change your mind at all?
I don't know because it's the Knicks, and there's. I mean, I know we're not talking about like an MVP player, but
Yeah,
they're not racking them up. And I know All Star Game is just for the stats strictly, but nah, I'm gonna still say no.
I agree. I don't. I think it's just because I'm biased because I do like Jalen Brunson,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like he hasn't. He's on a really bad Knicks team. Not
yeah.
really bad. He's not. He's on a mediocre Knicks team, I would say. And I just don't think he's really all-star worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, kind of gives me Mike Conley vibes. Just
Yes.
consistent, and he's like you know what you're gonna get from him. 20 and 6. That's it.
Yep.
Not more, not less. He's gonna be consistent. He's gonna be efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Mike Conley made it in, but I don't think this is Jalen Brunson's year.
Yep.
The next guy. They were setting afire the NBA for a little bit. Lauri Markkanen and the Utah Jazz. Do you think Markkanen makes it in? Realistically.
Realistically, no. I'm gonna say it off the top of my head, just because the Jazz, um, they weren't ready for that first seed. They
No.
weren't ready to be successful. This is supposed to be a down year, but for some reason they were hooping in the beginning. They were shot down to earth. As many of us expected.
Yeah.
Um, no disrespect to any Jazz fans that might be listening, but um, strictly on the numbers that he was putting up before, like wow, like if the Jazz kept their record up and he was hooping the way that he was, maybe. But now that they've been shot down to earth and um people are actually saying, okay, this is the Jazz team we all expected. I'm gonna say no, regardless of stats.
So he's averaging 22 a game,
Yeah,
53% from the field, 41 from three, 8.5 rebounds. I think he'll get in if he can keep it up, but it's a
fair.
big if because Markkanen in the past has never been like this. And I think like some guys do take quote unquote the leap.
Yeah,
I don't think Markkanen's that kind of guy, but that Jazz team is really bad. And I
yeah,
say this as a Warrior fan who just saw their team lose to them in embarrassing fashion. But I, I I just don't see him keeping it up because although I could see a lane where he does because that team is so bad. The options that they have are not great. But
yeah.
I think he's an injury replacement kind of guy to me. He doesn't really scream
Yep,
on the first ballot, I guess you could say.
fair.
Okay, on to another team that was lighting the NBA afire, the Portland Trailblazers and Anthony Simons, who's kind of carried the weight while Dame has been injured.
Yeah. Yeah. Anthony Simons, I'm gonna say this is so disrespectful, but another one of those guys that get in with an injury.
Yeah.
Only because Dame is due to be healthy. I hope, right? But while he's gone, I know that he's been carrying the load, and he looks so comfortable out there. Looks so comfortable, free flowing offense. Billups giving him free motion, but I just I don't think. And it's wait, hold on. If it's up to the coaches, right?
Yeah.
Strictly, I think they hate on him and they don't even let him get in. And so I'm gonna say no, but I'm on the fence. I'm gonna say no, but I'm on the fence.
Okay, when I looked up his stats, and I have him on my fantasy team, I knew he was
Yeah,
playing well. He's
yeah.
averaging 24.7 points a game,
Jeez.
44 from the field, 39.7 from three,
Yeah,
and 4.5 assists.
yeah. Damn. That's
I was
crazy.
not expecting that. I thought he was hovering around like 19, 20, but 24 is that's impressive.
That is impressive. Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's why I'm borderline about this no pick, but it's just something sometimes when I'm choosing my pick, it's just you got to consider the fact of the favorites that are for sure
Yeah,
going to be in there, you
yeah.
know, and
Point
that is
guard is the deepest position in the NBA.
it is, and, this is considering the fact that even, I mean, for all we know, CP3 might get in there somehow.
He's going to somehow.
Yeah, and he's been injured, so
Yeah.
just realistically trying my best to pick, but sorry, viewers and listeners.
I'm gonna say yes, just because he fits the All-Star game so well.
Facts.
And if he sneaks in, I'll be so happy because I like his story is great. Coming like basically out of high school,
Yeah.
taking a year to just like learn under Dame and
Mm.
then going off
Yep.
is great. And he just seems like a humble kid, so I like him.
Yeah.
And then for our final guy, your absolute favorite player in the world,
This is coming. Knew this was coming.
Kyle Kuzma. He's been great. I'm not even joking. He's been great. We talked about this earlier, but
Yeah.
what do you think? In the East too. In the East.
I can see him getting in the same way that, like I said earlier, there's always that odd player out, and he gets in, but I feel like he gets a DeMarcus Cousins treatment. What do I mean by that? He gets in, he plays the game, he gets traded.
I think so.
That's exactly what's gonna happen because this Wizards team is not going anywhere.
No.
I'm sorry, but they there was a stretch where I was like, oh, they could sneak back in, but he's gonna get the DeMarcus Cousins treatment. Unfortunately, he's gonna get into the All Star game, for a first time, and play the game, have fun All Star weekend. Then when he's on that plane, Woj bomb. You're been traded.
to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh God. Oh my God. And I hate to admit this, but what does Charles Barkley say? I hate to admit this, America. If he joins the Lakers, it might even help us. Oh my God. I'm not gonna be happy about it. I'm switching teams. Yeah, I can see him get. I mean, there was a report earlier that the Lakers and the Heat. I mean, these teams are always interested, right? But
They're
uh,
interested in every single player on the market.
yeah, exactly. So I can see him making it happen. But are the Wizards really gonna do us a favor again? Huh?
If you can
No.
call a Russell Westbrook trade a favor.
Yeah, right. Exactly, man. But anyways, yeah. Realistically speaking, I feel like he does get in. As long as he doesn't get traded, I feel like he gets in.
So he's averaging 20.6 on 45.9% from the field, 31% from three, 7.5 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. Never did that in the Lakers uni.
Never wanted him to do that in the league. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man.
I think he gets in, and like 20 years from now, when we look back, it's like he was on an all-star team.
Right?
Like we knew he could score, but like he's actually a solid rebounder, I gotta admit. So
Yeah.
I can see him making it because the East is the East, but at the same time, I think it would just be hilarious that he makes it in the All-Star game, but the Lakers, Russell Westbrook doesn't.
Yeah. No, exactly. Man, I hate to admit it, but I mean, this is just a pure example of what a different perfect situation can do to a player, right? And not everybody's accustomed to playing with everybody.
Yeah.
And that is the case with LeBron. Like you've seen players ruin their careers playing with the Lakers. Like another example is Wesley Matthews, who went back to the Bucks on his second stint and started hooping again. And so a lot of people are asking, why do you hate on Kuz? Why do you hate on Kuz? Because bro, like he makes these boneheaded decisions. I explained this way back then, but now that he's doing so much better, all power to him. He can do his thing, whatever. But Spence, if that Woj Bob happens and he's back to the Lakers, man, I might delete my app for a little bit.
I think that's for the best for you, for your mental health at least.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I see. I don't think even if he gets traded, he's not going to replicate the numbers.
Nope. That's
I
why.
think
Yeah.
Marcus Morris comes to mind,
Yeah.
right? Puts up 22 points a game. Obviously not at all-star level, but
Yeah.
he's not going to do that on a different team. As soon
Fact.
as he got traded to the Clippers, he's gone.
Yep.
Basically just a role player again. That's Kyle Kuzma. He's not gonna change into something that he's not.
Yeah. The reason why he gets those numbers and all this statistical improvements is because of the type of offense that they have and less pressure for success. And obviously, teams that are pushing for the playoffs are going to want to make a trade for a role player like that because they think, oh man, okay, maybe he can put up numbers over here with us. And so, like you said, if he gets traded to a playoff contender, he will definitely not put up those numbers.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if he actually does get traded. I think he will at some point, but we're gonna see. I
Mm-hmm.
hope he's not. I hope it's not to the Lakers for your sake and
Yeah.
Miles' sake.
Yep. Definitely, man.
Maybe the Clippers get him. Just
Oh,
do Marcus Morris all over again.
I don't know if that would be worse. Like,
Okay, it'd be worse if it'd be better if he went to the Clippers and just like regressed to the mean. But
yeah,
if he got traded to the Clippers and just like absolutely turns into a superstar, that's worst case scenario for sure.
I would hate that so much,
I
but
would too.
yeah. Knowing the Lakers' luck recently, that might be a possibility.
It might be. It might be. But that's gonna do it for us for episode 83. Appreciate you, CJ.
Of course, man. Sorry about my camera, but
Nah, it's all
it's
good.
back
No
on,
worries.
man. Always love coming on.
Yeah, it's always fun. But that's gonna do it for us. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.